Is BlackRock, which is the world's largest asset manager, planning to pivot away from Bitcoin into XRP? Well, that's what hit the news headlines this morning. So what I want to do in today's video is talk about what this really means for both Bitcoin and XRP alike. I want to answer some questions like, does this mean that BlackRock is dropping their plan for Bitcoin? Does this mean that BlackRock is only planning on buying XRP from here on out? And is this news even true? Now, there's another topic at the front of everyone's mind talking about the correlation between the crypto industry and the tech industry. Just a couple of months ago, we had this article come out saying that Bitcoin is no longer correlated to the US stock market, and it's now reached its lowest correlation point in the last 2 years, when just a couple of days ago, we got the opposite article coming out saying, hey, Bitcoin is actually completely recoupled with the tech industry, and there seems to be a lot of mixed emotions about this. Now, after all of this, I want to dive into the charts because there is some important stuff happening on both Bitcoin, Ethereum, and really the total too, which is the entire altcoin chart as well. So we're going to have an action-packed episode today. I hope all of you are ready. If you guys are new here, my name is Brendan, and I make videos just like this one every single week, multiple times a week. So if you want to get the full extent of my content, subscribe to this YouTube channel, which is The Crypto Analyst, and you can also see me over on the Crypto 101 podcast YouTube channel, where we have a lot of content getting pumped out over there as well. So let's start from the very top. What is this BlackRock news? Because this one is shaking people up. It's stirring the pot. The XRP fan base is going berserk over this one, but I think that there's a couple of important points to note over here. So there are these rumors that BlackRock is looking into XRP. Now, what does this mean? Well, if you read through this article, number one, you have to understand that the big bulk of this is speculation. And number two, they are interested in it for the potential of its transferabilities. So you know that there is XRP, and then there is Ripple. From my understanding of the research that I've done in this, they're not necessarily looking to maybe make an XRP ETF or even make XRP something that they hold in large on their balance sheet. If anything, they would use the transfer part of that, or the transfer side of its business, for these cheap cross-border transfer payments. So when we're understanding if BlackRock is looking to make large investments in XRP, it looks like, at least from what they have released now, from the rumors that are circulating, that they would use it as a means to transfer in and out, and that would be it. So it would be one of those scenarios where they would accumulate it, make their transfer, and then immediately get rid of it. So wouldn't it be something where they are buying it in bulk to keep it on their balance sheets? At least from the rumors that are circulating now, it'd be something where they would, if they use it in this theoretical world, then they would get it, transfer, and then immediately sell it. So wouldn't it really affect the price of XRP at all? And all they would do is these really quick transactions in XRP. So if this turns out to be true, which again, it's all a rumor at the moment, then what we would see is them essentially just going in and out within seconds, if that. Like, they wouldn't be holding XRP for more than seconds at a time. And I think that's important to note, because a lot of the attention has been towards Bitcoin. It's been, hey, they want to have this Bitcoin ETF. They want to open up Bitcoin services to their customers, and it doesn't seem like they're going the same route with XRP. They are, these rumors are very heavily focused on, hey, this is the transactional side of XRP, not here's what the monetary upside is, here's what the ETF upside is, here's what client demand is. It doesn't seem to be focused around that at all. And so I think that's a really important distinction here, is that we have to understand that their approach and their motive and their narrative towards Bitcoin is very different from that of XRP. So I kind of want to make that out there first. But you can also go ahead and read through this on your own. So I want to make sure everyone is kind of like staying level-headed out there, because there is a lot of, a little bit of false information that's kind of circulating around. People get excited upon news like this, and it's easy to. I get it. But I want to make sure that people truly understand what this means for XRP, and that BlackRock has a bit of a different approach between Bitcoin and XRP, if they even are going to use XRP or get any of it. Now, what about this correlation between crypto and stocks? Because in recent days, what we have seen is that the stock market has been recovering pretty well. specifically the tech industry over the last week or two. And so the tech industry has been rebounding from these little local lows that they had back in the middle of August. And so for the past month or so, the tech industry, has been moving back upwards here. And so one of the topics that we got asked in our VIP coaching call the other day over at Crypt Nation, shout out if you're a part of it, if you want to join, it's a great place to be. I'm one of the analysts over there. But we had someone ask us and say, hey, what are your thoughts on the tech industry and crypto's correlation to it? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? There seems to be a lot of mixed emotions about this. And I want to kind of point everyone's attention towards these two articles because just a couple of months ago, in July, I was talking about how, hey, there's this new study that was done saying that crypto is no longer correlated to the US stock market. And this is actually the lowest point of correlation since July 2021, which is 2 years ago. And then, fast forward now a month or two, we now have, I think I hit the wrong button here. Fast forward a month or two, we now have Bitcoin being kind of proclaimed as it has completely recoupled with the tech stocks. And these things change fast. And so that's kind of my main point here is that, hey, you got to take this stuff with a bit of a grain of salt. 1 second we have the lowest point of correlation in years. A month or two later we have, hey, this is completely recoupled. And, sometimes this is going to be a good thing. Sometimes this is going to be a bad thing. The one narrative that I have on this is that I truly don't want crypto to be correlated to any kind of traditional finance market. I think it's time that crypto kind of spread its wings, it grew out its feet, and it got out of the nest. And I don't think that the crypto market needs to be correlated to something like traditional finance or the tech industry or NASDAQ or stocks or any of that. I kind of want to see crypto do its own thing and have its own correlation, even if that means that crypto goes down a little bit, even if that means that the stock market's ripping and crypto's kind of doing its own thing. I want to see crypto, be its own industry and not be correlated to something like stocks. So that's kind of my two takeaways from this is I actually really do hope that crypto is not becoming more correlated to the stock market. It's not necessarily like an awful thing at the end of the day. I just think that it's time for the crypto markets to really mature and kind of, do their own thing. And then secondly, if you are someone that is paying really close attention to, hey, the markets are correlated, they're not correlated, this stuff changes all the time, as we saw from these two articles. So you kind of have to take this whole correlation news with a grain of salt, because when this first article was published saying, hey, Bitcoin has no correlation to the stock market anymore, this is in this downtrend. And now we're in the uptrend, and it's like, oh, hey, Bitcoin does have a correlation again. So this stuff really can change very quickly. And I think that's something to keep in the back of everyone's mind as well. Now, what about the charts? Well, one thing that I talked about the other day on the Crypto 101 podcast channel, again, you should check it out if you haven't already. I'm the new host of the Crypto 101 podcast along with Bryce Paul. So me and him are co-hosts over there. We got a ton of cool podcasts. We actually are just interviewing Coinbase and Solana. So we have some really big podcasts that are coming out soon. So quick little plug and shout out. You need to check it out if you like the content that I make. But one of the videos that I made on the Crypto 101 podcast YouTube channel was talking about the Total 2 on Wednesday. And what we see is we have this really big support line, or this trend line, where Bitcoin has been consistently bouncing off of the $500 billion area on the Total 2, which is the physical representation of the entire altcoin industry. And so every time that the altcoin industry has gotten down here, this has been a bouncing point for most of the altcoins that exist. Now, obviously, stable coins aren't going to be really as affected by this. But what this means is that historically, like, this has been one of the best places to accumulate altcoins in the past. But the big thing that I kind of noted in that video was that every time that we bounce, we are forming lower swing highs over here. And so what this means is that the bulls are kind of getting weaker while the bears are staying the same. And if this support breaks, because we're kind of squeezing down towards it here, because we can see the first high of around 30%, the second high of around 20%, the third high of around 10%, and then this fourth high over here, which is about like 5%-ish, give or take a little bit there. Each time we are cutting down the amount that we're moving to the upside while holding the same level of resistance. So I say this because this is one of those areas where, yeah, it's been one of the best areas to accumulate altcoins down here because this is where it bounces the most. But if this support line breaks right here, then we really need to be prepared for further downside, because it could be one of those scenarios where if this support breaks, it could get really ugly in the altcoin industry fast. And we can see a lot of mainstream altcoins, a lot of mid caps drop by 10, 15, 20%, and it wouldn't be this like unforeseen event. It wouldn't be anything wild out of left field. So I want to bring that to everyone's attention as well. And then kind of just simply look at Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has been very range bound for the last, I don't know, almost a month now. Really ever since this initial breakdown happened, Bitcoin has been using a floor or a support of $25,000 and then a ceiling of around 26.8K. We have the exception over here with a little bit of a piercing candle from some news, but it immediately fell back down into this range. So the real range for Bitcoin right now is just this sideways chop zone of around 25 to 26.8K. It's about a $1,800 chop zone, and this is where price is bouncing between. So if we break to the upside, I think prices could very easily go back to around $28,000. And if it breaks down over here, it could get potentially dangerous, because that's where we could see Bitcoin fall from the mid 20,000s to the low 20,000s. So there's a lot happening on the charts here. This is definitely one of those potential zones where the markets have potentials to do really great things on both the upside and the downside. And stop losses are going to be our best friends here. So that's going to round us out for the bulk of this video. I promised all of you that this was going to be an action-packed one, and that it was indeed. There's a lot happening in altcoins, there's a lot happening in Bitcoin, and we have all sorts of news circulating around, whether it's BlackRock, Bitcoin, XRP, correlations between the stock markets. There's a lot going on. So I hope all of you did enjoy this video. If you did, again, all that I ask is that you smash the like button, you smash the subscribe button, and if you want more content like this, then you can definitely check out this channel, but you can also check out the Crypto 101 podcast and the Crypto 101 podcast YouTube channel. So that's going to round us out. I'll see all of you next week, and have a safe weekend.